Hey everybody, we are here at the LAX Marriott for Gallifrey One 2022 version. It was 733 days ago that we left this convention, and everything seemed pretty normal with the world in general, as normal as ever, and then within that next month, everything came kind of crashing down. So it was this and San Diego Comic Fest were kind of that home stretch for us of those kind of last quote-unquote normal cons, and this really might have been the last truly normal feeling convention before everything shut down. So it's a really good feeling to be back here. We actually came out to this hotel a couple times. This is one of those spots that just always feels like Gallifrey One for us, even when it's not Gallifrey One. So we came out a couple times just to kind of stop by and grab a bite to eat and things like that. But the convention is back in full. It is celebrating all things Doctor Who. It's a little bit reduced attendance. There's some different strategies they have in place, like lanyards. You get blue if you're okay with people being around you, and red if you'd like them to keep more distance, things like that. So some things to make people feel comfortable. Sounds like it's about 1,000 less in attendance than normal. So normally hovering around somewhere around 4,000. I understand this looks like it's more around a little under 3,000. So still a big con, a lot of fun, a lot of feelings about being here. I know there's a lot of emotions for people. This is one of those conventions that really is like a homecoming. And so with that, we're going to try and share a little bit from the floor, from the cosplay. They have some pretty strict rules regarding video, a bit stricter than a lot of conventions we attend, so we will abide by all those rules and make sure not to put anything in here that they don't want. So with that being said, if you notice some things being omitted, that is probably why. So with that being said, let's start looking around.
You will be exterminated. Daleks do not eat jelly babies. Oi, gummy! You will be exterminated.
Bio Silver upgrade.
They definitely had a lot of to say this. I mean, at least we can say more than we used to.
We lost your.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so this is our conclusion, our Under the Con segment, where we talk about some of the things we picked up and just kind of go underneath the hood of the convention. It was so good to be back at Gallifrey One. I mean, it really was emotional coming down the escalator and just being back on the floor. You could tell that this was a huge moment for a lot of the people there. I mean, we've been covering cons, back into last summer, and you know, we've been out there doing that, but for a lot of people it felt like this was kind of their first time back as a community, back in that convention setting, and it felt really great. I think they did a fantastic job. The guest list was top notch. I wish we could bring you some video of that, but they are very steadfast about not allowing any video of the panel rooms, but some great stuff. We actually just got out of the Team TARDIS 2022 panel a few minutes ago, and it was so, I don't know, just inspiring to see that group up there talking about the work that they've done. So had a great time with that. That said, some of the things picked up. First, I just wanted to always highlight, I mean, their program, they always do such a fantastic job. It's always high quality. It's always beautiful. It's always filled with information and great stuff. And particularly now, because a lot of conventions are going away from physical programs, I think it's even a better time to be highlighting something that they're doing there with that. And then to commemorate the lost year, there was no Gallifrey One last year. They did the plague year there in 2021, because they did get that 2020 con in before things shut down, but they commemorated in that way. So first off, you know, it's not Doctor Who. The rest of the stuff we picked up is, but it was a big deal to me when we saw that Andrew Robinson was going to be here. His work as Garrick is just spectacular in DS9, Deep Space Nine. If you're a Trek fan, I'm sure you know that. Even if you're not a Trek fan, wouldn't be surprised if you've seen that show and loved it. He was super nice. He was only charging $30 for autographs, which post conventions or reopening of conventions, we found them to be quite pricey. Everything kind of seemed to bump up $10, $20. And so him charging only $30 seemed really incredible. That said, all of their convention guests were charging really low prices. I mean, most of the guests were in that $30 to $35, $40 range, so really reasonable there. Picked up a couple other toys and things like that. Could not pass up the 12-inch Cybermen here for $20. It is a pretty beat up, might even argue destroyed packaging there, but still love picking this guy up. We had a loose one of him, and now have one kind of boxed. Just couldn't leave him sitting there at that price. Got a little 13th Doctor there, only $5 to pick her up there. I am into kooky stuff, I think partly because it's always cheap, like birthday candles and cards and toothbrushes and all sorts of kind of wacky stuff. And most of that I have is like Star Wars, Marvel, DC stuff. But this is the first time I picked up something Doctor Who in that round. So we've got a Doctor Who Get Well Soon card here. Just what the Doctor ordered, just $5. Love how kooky and funny that type of stuff is. I think also all the kooky stuff, it's not just that it's fun because it's silly, but also it's usually a lot cheaper than most things out there. That said, Doctor Who, it's always interesting to me because I did not grow up watching Doctor Who. Somebody came to it much later in life, but I still love picking up vintage toys in general. This is an $87 here. See the old packaging back there. But what's interesting to me is you can tell clearly a lot of people did not grow up collecting Doctor Who toys because the prices on them is so much lower. Just in general, I mean, even like I said, the new figures, I mean, there's so many figures there in the $5, $10, $15, $20 range of the brand new stuff. And then in the vintage stuff, to be able to pick up, you know, all the vintage figures that we found like this there were all in the $25 to $30 range, so really, really reasonable there. And so that is not something I collected as a kid, but it's definitely something I would have if I had known about it, because that is so up my alley and it reminds me of Star Wars vintage and all that kind of good stuff. So with that said, we are going to wrap up this episode here. Hopefully you enjoyed this look at Gallifrey One. Congrats to the whole team there for putting this together. They pulled off a fantastic show here in 2022, and really excited to see what they do in 2023. They've got that February weekend, I believe it's 17th to the 19th, so it's already on our calendar and we are planning for it. So with that said, please like, subscribe, follow along with us on our convention adventures, Halloween adventures, all sorts of spooky stuff, and of course the theme park. So wrapping up here, and until next time, we'll see you online somewhere.